Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS, and today we're going to find out what the fuck went down at WWDC 2022. But first, we're going to shake things up and get a bit crazy. This is the new Kev Hart track called Start the Riot. Let's do it. Fucking hell. What's going on? Man, that was brutal on so many accounts. I think my brightness was a bit low there. That is a new Kev Hart track. It's got lyrics. They say, fuck you. That's what they say. Welcome to the show, everybody. That's Kev Hart's brand new track. It is called Start the Riot. It's awesome. What can you say? One-man band. It sounds like 26 stuff. You can head over to his YouTube channel. I think Thomas put a link in the chat. Hello, welcome to the show. WDC has happened. It's done. It's gone. It's finished. It's in the bag. And there was a lot of awkwardness, as always, with Apple events, and maybe we can poke some fun at it today. What went down? Not much kind of stuff, things. I think the takeaway is that exciting stuff for iPad coming up. Very exciting stuff coming up for iPad. Shall we open up this and have a look what's going on? All right, so Tim Cook came out. It's a standard affair these days now where it's all to green screens. Apparently, they're actually in the actual Apple spaceship, but it seems like everything's very green screened in. And we don't get the stuff we used to get, where all the figures and stuff and how well they're doing and how much money they're making, which I like, because I always used to find that really boastful and wanky, even though there's a lot of wanky stuff to cover. So they went straight into iOS 16. That's what they kicked off the show with. Look, I'm already jumping ahead, but iOS 16, it is a thing. It is coming. It's going to be on, of course, on iPhone. They went through a bunch of things. They opened up with, as you can see here, the lock screen. The lock screen seems to be the thing. So the lock screen overhaul, long overdue, because your notifications that come up on the lock screen are terrible. They are absolutely terrible. I hate them, and I really like that they pop up here down the bottom now. That's so much cooler than really unintrusive. I hate how they just stack up. And, they've given you now, you can change the font of the time. You can very quickly flick between different lock screens and all that kind of stuff. I should say hello to you all too. Let me do that. I want to get through this really quickly. Hello, David Collette, Thomas Christ, Joe and Barry Glenn. Hello to, who else is here? I'm Stephen Tucker. Hello to Scott Borthwick, Benedict Stewart. Sorry, guys, I forgot. Brian Baker, Russ8889, Timothy's here, Mark Bro is here, Cy effing good to see you, my friend. Bo, hello to you. Also, have I got you all? I think I got you all. I'm scrolling to the bottom. Tom Carrera, hello, Papa Tom. Good stuff. Dean Thomas, hello, my friend. All right, so here we are on the lock screen. The one thing which I'm interested about, so if you saw the keynote, you can actually change lock screens, yeah? So you can change lock screens. You kind of hold down around here, I think it is, and it lets you change up your lock screen so you can have multiple lock screens. What I found odd about this, let's go to the preview section here. I'm sure it's going to be in here. Here's the lock screens. So there, you can swipe up, see that, and you can go to new lock screens. Interesting, because what does that mean for privacy? So what if you have a lock screen that has all your work emails and stuff showing on it, and someone can just hit customize and move to that lock screen that has personal information on it? There's one thing that popped into my head, because, you can have multiple widgets and stuff like these little widgets, which kind of remind me of the faces that are on Apple Watch. So that's welcome. Those little things are cool, the little instances or whatever they're called. So I'm digging that. I'm all for the lock screen refresh. Really cool. We need a lock screen refresh. It's been boring for a long, long time, and a bit... Yeah, I thought that too, Thomas. Bit of a privacy nightmare. It seems weird. I don't know. Like, to be able to just flick through, because they've tied in with the lock screen. So you've got customization. You can add filters, time font, widgets, wallpaper. So like the watch faces, and multiple screens. So there's a widget kit for developers. So yeah, the thing that interests me, because they're really going all in on this focused updates and stuff like that. So focused updates, which are currently in iOS 15, but they're really going in on it for like work stuff and all that. So hopefully you do have to use face recognition. I do hope that is a thing, because you would think so, because they're so full on about, about privacy and all that stuff. Hello, Kites Pongan, what's going on? All right, so what else did they talk about? We can move on from that. So notifications, you can see here. Here's the little widgets. I like these things. They work great on the watch. They're really cool. I dig that stuff. So you've got live activities. What else do we have? So the messages now, you can flick up from the bottom. I like that. because you know I never seem to use the notifications on my phone. I find they just get in the way. That's really cool to have them sitting down the bottom. I really like the live updates and stuff, as you can see over here with sports scores, Uber. So if like I get Uber Eats sometimes, and to be able to see the update of Uber Eats coming down the bottom without having to open it, that's really cool. Yeah, well, they're little widgets. So as you can see here, they're like little widgets there, see? With clock and headphones. So they're more like watchOS kind of widgets. So as you can see, they're going all in on focus and stuff like that, which, you know, you can set up certain lock screens to do certain things when you're at work and you only get work emails and it stops other messages coming through. So it looks like they're really going all in on focus filters and stuff like that. You know, filter out distracting content on your everyday apps. Photos. They added some really interesting stuff for sharing, family sharing and stuff like that. I don't have a family, so it really doesn't bother me, but they've created like a smart sharing thing in the photos. So if you've got kids and wife or whatever, you can all share to one section and share photos. Yeah, it's another one of Apple's kind of things they throw in. And does anybody use that shit? I don't know. Does anybody use that stuff? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't use it. Messaging. Let's talk about messaging. So messaging finally, look at this. We can unsend messages. Finally unsend messages. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to unsend as many messages as I can because we all have been in that situation where you've sent somebody a message and you go, fuck, I didn't mean to send that to a person. So that's really cool. And you can live edit a message. So if you make a spelling mistake, and I know I do that heaps on Facebook. I am always going in and editing a message. I'll go back and read a post and go, oh shit, I spelt that wrong. I'm a bit anal like that. Hey, Tremor Bear, what's going on? So yeah, you can go and edit your messages. So that's cool. Yeah, the oh shit button. I like it. The oh shit button is finally here. You can now mark entire threads as unread as well. So that's cool. So that's messages. What else do we have? So, share play. They've added share play now to messages. So previously you could only do share play in FaceTime. And now you can actually open up a message with somebody and send them, hey, let's watch Netflix together. And it will open up Netflix and you can watch it in the messages app or like Apple TV and be typing to each other and just have the video up the top. That's cool. That's really interesting, you know, definitely for people with long distance relationships like Russ and his lovely wife over in the US. That's, that's a really cool thing. I like that. Richer collaboration. So, now you can share notes, presentations, all this stuff, and Safari tab groups all through here, through your messages. So they're really opening up messages and letting you share a whole lot more. Of course, there's an API. For the developers to add this to all their apps. So before you know it, everyone's going to be able to have an app to share this way. So that's cool. Mail. There's heaps of changes coming to Mail. They only covered a very few things with Mail, but one of them, as you can see here, undo send. You can undo an email. That's really good. That's fantastic, because I can't tell you how many times I've sent an email telling somebody to go and get effed and then thought, oh no, I sent that to my sister. Damn. Oh well, she can go and get effed. Improved search. That's across the whole of Mail. Now, a lot of these changes to Mail, here's the interesting thing too. A lot of these changes that you're seeing in iOS 16 and iPadOS 16 are all on Mac OS as well. So all these things being shared now. So we're really starting to see a very shared ecosystem across Macs, iOS devices. Whatever you're getting on a Mac, you're pretty much getting on iOS as well, which is cool. Safari. Now, I'm really into this. There's actually quite a few things I was really into this year. I'm thankful that there's like no more widgets. Don't give us any more widgets. I don't give a shit about widgets, all right? Hey, what's going on, Deep Gravity? I don't give a shit about widgets, all right? They're for Android. It's great, cool. If you want to use them, they're there. But Give me this, passkeys. This is where we need to go to create your own passkeys. So basically this is tied into Keychain. And so you can associate websites with this in Keychain, and it creates a passkey. So your passwords are absolutely 100% secure, and you will not get phished. That is what this is all about, not getting phished, because people are still clearly getting phished for their passwords, no matter if they have them in Keychain or not, because people still click emails, don't they? So this is really cool. And as they said in the keynote, this is going to take time to roll out and for the whole world to catch up. And, you know, Apple do this stuff. They remove headphone jacks and everybody cries. And then 3 years later, headphone jacks don't exist anymore. So hopefully this becomes a thing with passkeys. And we finally do away with passwords having to be entered. And we have these great passkeys that if you get a pass, like if a hacker gets a passkey, they can't do anything with it. All they get is the passkey. They don't get like an email address or a password, and it leaves them absolutely stuffed. I love it. Share tabs. So we're in Safari now. Share tabs and bookmarks, send messages. So you can share tabs, full tabs, bookmarks, web pages through your messages and FaceTime Live. Good stuff. Intelligence. This is pretty cool. Like if this works, so you've got a photo here and you can just touch the photo and hit copy and it draws an outline around the dog and only pastes the dog into the chat. That's crazy. So it takes away the background. It's a background remover. It's all right. Wow. Okay, never thought I needed it, but I could see myself using it. Because, you know, I remove the background from heaps of photos myself, so that's cool. Plus, live text in video. How often have you watched a video and seen like a whole bunch of text in it and thought, I want to copy that text, and you've had to stop the video and write out the text? Or now live text will just rip the text from a YouTube video. Whatever's in that video, it'll just rip it out and paste it into a notepad. Sweet. That's useful. You know, so far, a lot of the updates are actually useful. They make sense. There's, you know, just not dumb shit that I don't need. Live text, quick actions. So there you go. Same thing. There it is within videos, phone numbers from websites, all that kind of stuff. You can run shortcuts with Siri as soon as you install an app. So Siri's just going to be embedded in everything going forward. Dictation, automatic punctuation, and say it with an emoji. You can use dictation and a keyboard together. This was really cool in the demonstration. He was actually like typing and then dragged a little finger over a bit of text and then said the text to go over it. Yeah, okay. So to be able to dictate and type at the same time to correct. So it actually puts the little microphone down the bottom. Because you know when you're like on I know when we're in Clubhouse and I accidentally hit the mic, it blocks the sound. So, and then you come, when you hit cancel, then the sound comes back to whatever you're listening to. That's not going to happen anymore. That's clever. Maps. Let's talk about maps. So multiple stops along your route. So I think, I can't remember the number that you could have. What was it? Maps. So it's out in 11 countries, multi-stop routing. I think it was 14 stops. That's what it was. 14 stops, transit updates. You can actually pay for your train tickets as well within Maps. Blah. I'm sure that's not going to roll out to all of us. It's going to be in the US like always, and then it rolls out to the rest of the world. This is interesting. Apple Pay and Apple Wallet. Apple have now jumped onto this trend that is happening around the world with companies like I use here called Afterpay, where I buy something, they send it to me straight away, and I'm able to pay it off over 8 weeks, paying installments. Apple are offering this as well. They are offering a payment plan kind of scenario where your payment is split up into 4 payments every 2 weeks. That's pretty cool. Okay. which is dangerous because it just makes you spend more money. I know that from my own experience. You can view receipts and delivery stuff from within your wallet. So that's pretty cool. You can share house keys through wallet as well with people you trust. So if you had somebody else come, if you're using home or whatever, you could send your house key to somebody to let them in your home. Home stuff, they didn't really go into too much because I guess, they haven't released a new HomePod or anything like that. A lot of the stuff's going to be announced further on when the devices are released, obviously. Health updates. So they've added a whole bunch of medications and stuff. So you can actually check on your medications, set reminders for medications, a whole lot of fitness stuff. That's by the by. Family sharing, so you can share a whole bunch of stuff amongst selected family members. So that's really cool. If you've got a family and all that jazz, set up a device for a child's super easy. So that's you just hold the kid's device to the new device, and it sets up. CarPlay. This isn't going to be an instant thing. This is going to be something that's rolled out over the next few years. They're in discussions and working with car developers. So soon, CarPlay is going to take over whatever screen is in cars. I don't know how many of us own cars that are fancy like this. Not me, so it doesn't really excite me. Privacy and security. This is really cool. I'm digging this. Safety check helps for people in domestic or intimate partner violence situations. Review and reset access they've granted to others. Safety check resets system privacy permissions for apps and restricts messages and FaceTime on the device in hand and other devices. So that is massive. Because how many like domestic violence situations are there where the controlling person's got the partner's iPhone and, using it against them, going through their messages, tracing them, following them, all this kind of dodgy shit. You can shut them down and get help from within this whole safety check section. I think this is brilliant. This is I know Apple preach a bunch of bullshit sometimes about, equality and all this stuff. And, they do their best. It gets a bit cringe sometimes, but this is something serious that's going to help people live. It's going to help. This is going to help people. Fuck Amber Heard. Accessibility, they've already announced a whole bunch of these accessibility things previously a few weeks ago. So automatic door detection on maps and live captions. So that's happening. You can control an Apple Watch with your iPhone. That's neat. We're still on iOS. My God. So much more. There you go. So that is iPhone. Now, where do we get next? So there's some watch, not too much on the watch because they haven't, announced a watch yet. So you're not going to hear anything more about the watches until it's actually released. Yeah. But then they said this. This just came out of absolute left field. The M2 chip. There's an M2, and it's available next week. What? And it's in the MacBook Air. And it's got an absolute total new design, thin as hell, no fans. What's good about this? I don't need one of these, but what this says is, more than anything, really loudly, is the iPad Pro coming this year is gonna have an M2 in it. Because they've done, the last 2 years have had the M1 in it. They've had 2 iterations. And they've clearly been able to make an M2 that goes into a device that doesn't need cooling. So it's going to be fine to go in the new iPad Pro. That's my takeaway from this. I'm saying it now because with the new chips, the Ultra M1 and that, you notice they've had to put them in the machines that they've needed fans, the last few machines they've released. So clearly they've found a way to make the M2 not need fans. And this thing's amazing. Like this iPad Air, it's got it's a total redesign. It's got a Magic Keyboard. It's thin as hell. MagSafe is back. MagSafe is back. What? They just threw that in there. So M2 chip does 100 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth, up to 24 gigabytes of shared memory, 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU. So there's a lot going on in there. They reckon it's something like 2 times faster or something like that. So it's much faster. What do we got here? So it weighs fuck all. It looks really nice. It's got the liquid retina screen. Good stuff. God, they make it hard to move this. So yeah, the actual keyboard looks a hell of a lot like this keyboard here, like the actual iPad keyboard. That's quite interesting. Go back over here. It's got 4 speakers in it, the Air, 4 speakers, 2 Thunderbolt ports, MagSafe, comes in 4 colors, liquid retina, 13.6-inch display, 1080p FaceTime camera, 20% faster than the M1, absolutely silent. New chargers with 2 inputs, and they are fast charging for Macs, 18-hour battery life, Magic Keyboard, and they start from what? $1,200 in the US. So there you go. This is the Mac, and it's pretty cool. M2 definitely, it has to be coming for the iPad Pro. With all the features that they've announced too for Mac OS, everything they're saying is on Mac OS is for iPad as well. So I can see the M2. So that's the takeaway for me. All right, that's that. There you go. So they did announce another Mac as well, and they announced the MacBook Pro. Where is it? There it is. The MacBook Pro 13-inch. No changes to the body, no changes to the look, nothing like that, but it does come with an M2 chip in it. So pretty much all the same stuff as last year, just with an M2 chip, and all the same stuff as what I just read out there. Same body, all that jazz, from 19, so from $2,000 for the base model, and there you go. Happy stuff. They didn't announce a Mac Mini. That was not in the description or anything like that. So faster video editing, all that kind of stuff, like 1.4 times than the M1. Not an incredible leap, but a leap. Man, they're so far ahead of the competition with the M1 anyway. It's yeah, it's a thing. So will I be buying any of these? No, absolutely not. But as I said, what I'm excited about more so is that I want to get an iPad by the end of this year. There will be an iPad released at the end of this year. It's normally November, iPad Pro. So promising things that we're going to get an M2 in the new iPad Pro. What else? What else did they talk about? Let's talk about... there we go. So they did watchOS, Ventura Mac OS. So here's the new Mac OS. Let me scroll and find my kind of notes that I actually took notes. I'm pretty embarrassed about that. Ventura is the name. Ace Ventura Pet Detective. So there you go. It works smarter, goes faster, mail. As you can see here, exactly what's here in Mac, so the improved search and the new mailbox features, this is the same image that was on iOS. So absolutely the same thing. Spotlight is getting a huge update on Mac, and whatever the same thing you're getting here on Mac with the improved Spotlight search, which now takes up the whole screen and is swiped from the bottom, will be on iOS and iPad OS as well. So everything in this is pretty much on iOS 2. So there's the new search feature, takes up the middle of the screen. You can start clocks, timers, all this kind of stuff. Pass keys, same thing. Shared tabs, messages. See, all this stuff that's in Mac OS is in iOS. Photos, Stage Manager. So I saw this and was like, okay, so this is going to be a Mac only thing. And then they said, hang on a minute, this is on iOS as well. So this is Stage Manager. If you've got a whole bunch of windows open, you bring up Stage Manager and it puts everything to the side over here and lets you focus on one thing. And then you can have a few windows open and save them in that configuration. So this is coming for iPad as well. And that means multi-pages open at the same time over the top of each other. So like this, like you pictured here on the Mac, you can have multi-windows open. That's really, really cool. It's going to need an M2 to be able to do that. It's going to need to have it. Switch between apps. So yeah, with this you can switch between apps, as you can see here. Switching between is really easy. Make different groups of apps that you open. FaceTime now has like all these new things as well, where you can share projects and stuff. I think, what was it called? The thing that they called freeform boards, and this is going to be an iOS as well. So like you can create these boards, like a message board, and everyone can scribble on it at the same time. Oh, it looks bonkers. It looks absolutely bonkers. Continuity camera. You can now use your iPhone as a webcam on your Mac, and it doesn't plug in. It comes with a little connector, which I'm guessing is going to cost about $5 million. But yeah, the little connector sits above your Mac, and you sit your iPhone on there, and you can use your iPhone as a camera on your Mac now. So that's another new thing. What else? So here you can create center stage. So, you know, with the iPhones, when you move, the camera follows you, so you can do that. It has this new thing called Studio Light and Portrait Mode. So that's interesting. It creates a fake backlight for people who are streaming. And, you know, I normally use like these lights or a ring light. It actually generates a fake ring light kind of thing. There it is. There's the clip. See that clip? That's probably going to cost $1 million. Hello, Lee. Games. Apparently Capcom came out and said, yeah, we're going to release a Resident Evil game. I'll see it when I believe it. Mac's never going to be a gaming thing. Like, they can try till their hearts break. So this is interesting though. Share play. So you'll be able to play games and actually play with somebody FaceTime at the same time. Interesting. Cool stuff. Game centers. Yeah. So here's Freeform. This is Freeform. So you can actually do this in FaceTime calls. Hey, what's going on, Ivan? You can do this in FaceTime calls or in Messenger, in messages. And you have this whole scribble board that people can just draw on and change. Look, you can say that, you know, the general muggle isn't going to use this, but for like collaborations in business and stuff, I can see this being used a hell of a lot. And this is, it says, coming later this year. What do we got else? So more privacy and security stuff. There's always that kind of stuff. Accessibility and so much more. So there you go. That is Mac in a nutshell. I suggest if you want to go and watch the 2-hour-long Snorefest, you can. I was falling asleep through it. And lastly, we'll cover this. I'm not really going to cover watchOS because they're going to talk about it more when the watch is released later this year. iPad OS, the best moment for me. We'll get to it. So photos, you get this shared photo library, same as iOS 16. Smart ways to share, messages, all the same stuff. Mail, good stuff. Passkeys, Stage Manager. So you do get Stage Manager with your iPad. That's going to be really cool. I really like Stage Manager. It looks good. But then think about this. How many times have Apple released a task manager and then 2 years later change it to something else? I mean, they just continue to do it all the time. So switching between apps looks really nice and seamless. And you can see here multiple windows open at the same time, and you can resize the windows. So resizing windows, it's a thing. External display support, they showed a demonstration of having an external iPad and dragging things across onto the screen. Projects like from Procreate, which, by the way, after this show, in about 20 minutes time, I'll be doing a second show on Procreate today, doing a beginner's guide on Procreate. So they did an example of that in this demonstration. Reference mode, so you can now display a reference color for popular standards between your iPad and your Mac for resolution, because, I mean, they're all liquid retina screens now. The weather app's coming to iPad. Finally. I wonder if they're going to add the calculator next year. Yeah? Yeah, that's cool, I guess. Game Center, stuff like that. There's the Share Play Intelligence, so we've already covered that. Quick Text, Home, Family Sharing. Is it in this list? Family Checklist, Desktop Class Apps, countless app enhancements, even more productivity. Are they going to release desktop class apps? This is interesting because they showed very briefly that the Files app is getting a massive overhaul and a whole bunch of new things. Files app is starting to make sense a little bit. Let's hope it happens. So hopefully they've got a bit more information on this. There's Freeform. So there's our Freeform, security, accessibility, and look, it's not even here, and so much more. One of the coolest things I saw, and I'm going to bring it up, here it is, iPadOS. Apps can now, without a developer contacting Apple, will, from iOS 16 on, be able to use the full 16 gig of RAM available on iPads. All apps. Yay! That was huge to me because that is how they're going to be able to do desktop apps. Yeah, let's hope, Ivan, that they do Final Cut and a Logic. You know, that would be, let's restart the Logic hype train. Plus, they mentioned this other thing called virtual memory swap. Now, they didn't go too far into it, but from what I recall, they were saying, I think they're saying, you can actually use the memory on your iPad because I'm guessing this M2 is going to have this, you're probably going to be able to use, it's going to be more of a condensed memory. You may be able to use memory, built-in memory on your iPad as RAM. I don't know. They weren't clear about it. So they basically said virtual memory swap plus 16 gig of memory for apps. There you go. I don't know what that means. It's I don't know if it's going to be exclusive for the new iPads. But that's it. That is it and a caboodle. So prices for stuff. We kind of looked at the Macs. So, you know, the starting price was what? $1,200, I think. Is that what I said? So the MacBook Pro, so $1,999. There you go. $1,999, $2,299. So they do have, is the 14-inch? Yeah, so it's only the 13-inch MacBook Pro that has the M2. All the rest, the 14-inch and 16-inch are still M1s. And it's the new iPad Air that has the, there you go. So they still have the M1 chip. So that's dropped in price a little. And the iPad Air has the M2 chip as well. So there's two different versions. There's an 8-core, and an 8-core and a 10-core. But these are both only 8 gig unified memory. So pay attention to that. Only 8 gig. So that's interesting. I'm guessing they're going to save that for the MacBooks. Yeah, who knows? There you go. That's it. Using the storage memory as a hot swap for RAM. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing it is, Audible Video. So there you go. Good stuff. I think we've covered everything. I did put a poll up here. If you haven't filled in the poll, do it. What have we got? Let's end it now anyway. I'll give you a few seconds to add your poll if you haven't. Play with your poll. What do you guys think? I'll surmise in a second. Hi, Welton Kinder. Hello, Black Covers. Who else have I missed? I'm sorry if I've missed you while I'm rabbiting on. I'm trying to get through this as quick as possible because I've got another show straight after this that has been requested by Joe and Barry Glenn, and I promised I would do it, so I'm definitely going to do this show next. Let's end the poll. The poll says meh has won. Of course it has. I was very meh watching it because it doesn't change anything for me. My final thing is it doesn't change anything for me, but it gives me hope that when the iPad Pro comes out this year, which I'm due for an update, that we're going to do a hell of a lot more, that it will have an M2. It will sort out the issue with RAM distribution for apps. So that's all been answered. Some of the features are really cool. Am I going to use 3/4 of them? Probably not. But some of them are really cool and will get used. So, yeah, will it save the world and electricity bill? Not really. So there you go. And I know when I get one, I'll be paying it off for a long period of time. It won't be something I'm walking in going, here's the cash. So I've started saving up now for November. So yeah, it is what it is, you know. These things are expensive. But I mean, at the end of the day, the software's ever increasing. I'm always going to be welcome to Files app improvements and all that stuff. And yeah, good stuff. That's it. Apple Card for Ivan. I'm going to call it a show here and wrap up because in about 15 minutes time, I am doing this Procreate show. So hopefully you can join me for that because Procreate is a really, really awesome app. After that, Pete Johns is on doing the Garage Band Weekly show. And I'm sure he's going to have something to say. Hello, Pete. You've just joined us. Nothing game-changing? Yeah, exactly. Nothing game-changing, but nice updates, all that kind of stuff. And there you go. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Go back and watch the keynote if you want to be bored shitless. You know what? Can I just say this? This is probably going to come off really. I thought, you know how Apple are very like conscious of like minority groups and stuff like that. They had one section where they talked about sports and new sports features. And I just thought it was weird that they cut to somebody in a wheelchair. I just thought it was really odd. Just an odd choice of people. But whatever, Apple, they're trying their best. They're so cringeworthy to try and cater to everybody and be really woke. And I love that. So good stuff. But anyway, and some of the people were so daggy. It's ridiculous. Anyway, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And we're all rise together. I'll see ya in about 15 minutes. Boom. Shagga lugga lugga. Have a good one. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Hit the like on the way out. Bye.